I'm Tori Payne, and I'm 22 years old, and I go to Francis Marion. I'm a student.
I'm Kathleen Kennebeck. I'm 22 years old, and I'm also a student here at Francis Marion.
Are you from this area, or did you come here because of a program or something like that?
I'm from Florence, and I was interested in doing graphic design, and so I was unsure if I wanted to stay in Florence, and then I came out here and interviewed with a professor, and I realized that the arts program was pretty good here, so that's why I stayed.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm live in Effingham, so it's about 20 minutes from here, and I wasn't planning on coming here because when I graduated high school, they didn't have a photography program here, and that's what I wanted to major in. But the year I graduated, they found a new professor, so I decided to come because she was really great, and I heard awesome things about the art department.
In Germany, we don't really have tuition fees. For us, it's pretty hard to understand that you have to pay 5, 10, even more thousands of fees at a university, and also to handle this kind of amount of this amount of money. What about Francis Marion University? How much do you pay, and how do you handle it?
Okay, so I think it's around 8,000 per semester, and I think I handle it through student loans and scholarships. And that's the only way I'd be able to afford school.
What about you?
Yeah, it's about the same price, and definitely student loans at the beginning. It's easier to get lots of scholarships to help out. There's lots of different ones you can apply for, but they often expire the longer you're in school. So the longer you stay, the more you have to pay out of your own pocket. So it gets expensive.
What about after graduation? So you'll have, yeah. Let's talk straight. Shit, lots of money you have to, get back to the, yeah.
Okay, so when I graduate, that's when the student loan companies start calling. That's what I've heard. And then you have to make payments. And it grows interest, I think, as long as you don't pay. So that's kind of stressful. When you're looking for a job and you have that lingering, it's stressful.
So my question would be, are you already afraid of, these kind of like after graduation, get a job and pay the debts back?
Thankfully, I don't have that much student loan cost, so I mean, it's terrifying to think about it, but I think that's what's great about Francis Marion is that it's honestly not that expensive compared to other universities, so you don't have to pay back as much as you would if you went to another university, so it's not terrible.
Let's get into election talk. How is it to live in a Republican state? You're both from South Carolina, very close from here. So what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think we take it for granted lots of times because we don't know anything else, but it is more conservative than lots of other states in the United States. But I think it's incredible. It's incredible.
What about you?
I think that it's not as bad as it's probably portrayed in other countries. Republican has kind of a negative connotation right now because of the election. It brings out a lot of crazies on both sides. So I feel like it didn't used to be as divided as it is, and it's still not with the general population. I know we come from families that are conservative leaning, so I don't think it's as bad as people think, but I definitely think there's a growing divide. So that's it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future.
So my question would be, are the students divided at this this university, or is it more like, most of the people think the same about both candidates?
I think that probably at this university there is some division. I think the biggest division, though, is probably between age groups, students and older adults who are kind of, I guess, middle-aged. They probably have the most divide because I think the student population has more in common, even if they are from different, I guess, political parties or conservative or liberal. I think it's more similar.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, like she said, there's a bigger age difference, or the age difference does matter, because I think lots of the younger people are kind of ignorant about a lot of stuff regarding the election and the candidates, and they just don't take the time to do research or care enough about it. So I think there is definitely a bigger divide there.
You kind of mentioned, both of you kind of mentioned your families. What about their perspective on the election? Is there any difference between you and your families, or is it almost the same?
There is some difference with our like personal beliefs and like I guess and how we feel a leader should be, I guess, conservative or liberal, but not that much difference. And I think my family and I have the same opinion in that we don't really care for either person running for election. So we're kind of concerned with how it's going to go.
So you're not voting, can I say that? Or is it you're voting but you don't like both candidates?
I'm voting, but I don't know what the best decision will be yet. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but
What about you? Is there any difference between you and your family?
Not really. I think we're both, or we're all kind of disappointed in the two candidates that are representing our country. And I think when it comes time to vote, we are going to have to vote one or the other, but it doesn't mean that we're necessarily supporting the one that we vote for. It's more that we're not supporting the one that we're not voting for. So I think it's unfair, because just because you're voting for a specific person doesn't mean you actually, represent, or that you want them to represent our country. It's just that you would rather them than the other candidate. It's kind of what it comes down to.
So at the end of each interview, we ask the participants about not their own beliefs, but a little bit like how they predict the election in 2016, so in about 10 days. And everyone makes the same expression as you did. What do you think? Who will win, and maybe why? Like, if you have an answer, or...
I think right now in the polls it's Hillary is winning, but I think there's a lot of Trump supporters who are just not outspoken about it. There's a lot of outspoken Trump supporters, but I think there's a lot more that are kind of not outspoken. So I don't know who will win, but I think I guess what will happen is going to be stressful and worrisome either way. So not good.
I don't know. I'm hoping that Trump wins, just because, I'm voting for Trump. But I'm scared that Hillary will win, just because of the power that she has and just the influence that she has politically. She can kind of get away with doing lots of things that she shouldn't do, and I'm scared that that's going to happen in the end. Like, she's going to get away with things that, just in order for her to win the election. But that's just a personal, opinion. So.